Tell here with the WBA bantamweight champion of the world, former 2016 United States Olympian Antonio Vargas defending his title next month against Jesse Bam Rodriguez, one of the pound for pound best in the game. Antonio, man, Bam's fought a lot of champions. He's fought some great fighters, but he's never fought someone with your background, an American fighter with a steep amateur background. How do you think that plays into this fight?
I think it's gonna be one of the big factors in this fight, man. Definitely, especially all my last fights, I haven't really been able to, I guess, like bring out my tools that I needed to bring out. But with this kid, Bam, man, I'm definitely gonna have to use a lot of the experiences that I've had. Like I said, the amateur background, the Olympic background, and a lot of my skills, man. So it's definitely gonna help me, man, going into this fight.
Well, yeah, to get to it, man. What does Antonio Vargas possess that could pull off what would be a big upset against a guy that seems like a great fighter in his prime? What do you have in this stylistic matchup, and what attributes do you have that are gonna allow you to beat Bam Rodriguez?
I think one thing, man, is the speed. I think the speed is definitely going to help me, man. And obviously, me being a little bigger than him, fighting, man, people are going to kind of see like just the size difference, the speed. And obviously, going up in a weight class, it's more power as well. So, that's one thing I'm looking for, man. Just to place my shots right, making sure I'm catching them in the shots and kind of neutralize his footwork because that's one of the main things he does well is his shifting. So that's like one of the main things I got to be aware of and making sure I'm not standing in front of them. You know, sometimes pressing them, sometimes boxing them. So as the fight goes on, just making them little adjustments that I got to make to make sure I get the win.
Did you ever hear about him? I know you're born in Texas, like he is, but did you come up as an amateur like in Florida, or did you hear about him like years ago in Texas? Ever cross paths with him?
Now, I had tech sparred him one time at the Olympic Training Center. I was like around 19. I was fighting at 114 pounds. He was at 106. I think that was like the first time that I seen him. So like, we were working with each other. Obviously, I was bigger than him. Um, but that was the first interaction I had with him. It was like a light sparring session, and I would have never thought, man, he would have been, who he is today. From that point on, almost 10 years ago.
Is that to say you did well in that sparring session with him?
I'm not gonna say it because it's called tech sparring, so it's not really like 'cause sometimes when you spar a guy like I used to spar with Shakur Stevenson a lot. With him, I would try my best. I would really go at him. He was a bigger guy. He was fighting 123. But smaller with a smaller guy, it was different because we only could use like jabs and stuff like that. So it was to help each other. It was nothing hard. I think we maybe did like 2 rounds or something like that. So um, I don't really I don't really count it. 'Cause just the size difference, and we're just working with each other, man. But yeah, that was 10 years ago, man. Like I said, we're two different weight classes too, so it's yeah.
Why did you, based on that at that time 10 years ago, and again, he's 16, you're almost, you're 19, a grown man still against a teenager, young grown man against a teenager, but what was it about that ultimately made you surprised when he became the fighter he became in the pros?
Because I remember, he seemed more like a pressure fighter, but as a pros, man, he just kind of got more like the lateral movement, the shifting, and kind of similar, to Lomachenko.
Hmm.
Some similarities. He may not move as much, but he does, here and there. And I think that's the main thing, man. Just the way he's been knocking a lot of these guys out too. Um, so that's probably the footwork, man, and just the way he's been stopping people has probably been the biggest thing that kind of surprised me. Him, from the time that I sparred him to the present time now.
You noted the speed and the power and good combinations too on film from you as well as a pro. But you fight in kind of a steady, fundamentally sound style. Like hands up. A lot of basics, but then when you punch, you have good explosiveness and everything. Is that is that enough to offset how creative Bam is, dynamic he is, all like you said, the Lomachenko type pivots and shifts? how do you think that plays out you stylistically? And is that enough to offset a guy with all the special effects?
Yeah, no, I definitely, one of the main things I've been learning since my last couple of fights, man, is just, I have the footwork. I just haven't been using it. There's only one fight I use my footwork, and I think that was my first 10-round fight. That was like 4 fights ago. He was a southpaw as well, but it just made the fight a whole lot easier. My last couple of fights, I kind of got comfortable, just tight defense, walking them down. Um, but with this guy, man, I'm not, I'm looking to do that here and there, but I'm looking to utilize more my boxing skills. The feigning, the jab. Make him miss, make him pay. Because like I said, he's not a fighter you could just stay in front of him. Because if you stay in front of him too long, he like I said, the shifts. He'll try to make you pay with. He does that little right uppercut. That shit, right uppercut. Well, so I'm gonna definitely have to use more of my boxing skills with this guy. And most people haven't seen that side of me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
every fight, I try to box and to fight. But my last 3 fights in particular, it made it easier for me to kind of press forward and back him up. But with this kid, I'm not looking to do that. If I have to, I will. But if I get him hurt, but I'm looking to utilize more of the angles, the boxing skills, the footwork.
Because he can manipulate that high guard look, can't he?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead if you had something to follow up.
Oh no, yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yeah. Can't we can't I know I can't get too much into the tech. You got to save some of that thought process for the fight, not say everything. But Sergio Mora in your fight against Rodriguez, he one of the first things he noted was your timing. And do you feel like you'll have an ability to punch with Bam Rodriguez that a lot of other fighters haven't?
I think that's going to be the biggest difference, man. Is just punching them. I think that's going to be the thing that turns the fight around in my favor. Because every fighter we have, they got different rhythms. Some fighters, different openings and stuff like that. I've seen some openings he does have. I just gotta make sure I fight the right openings, the right times, and making sure I'm landing them clean shots. But I think once I start landing, I think that's gonna change the course of the fight, and it's gonna kind of gonna put him in a panic mode. Because he's only been dropped like one time. Um, so it's and like I said, the size difference is it's gonna play a factor into the fight. You know, but like I said, I know some of his weapons too. Like I said, his footwork, his timing too. So I have to really make sure I'm being on point. With my accuracy, my timing, and it'll make the fight in my favor.
And is that where the great fight breaks out? Is if you can get a beat on him a little bit and then start to punch with him in the exchanges. Do you feel like that's where like real fireworks break out in this fight?
Yeah, I believe that's where it's gonna start, man. Exchanging, catching the shots and throwing with them, and
You've overcome adversity in your career. Shakur Stevenson, when he tweeted about, this guy's been through a lot, and he tweeted in support of you heading into this fight. Looking at your career, you overcome a first round knockout early to Cardenas. And then even instances like Rodriguez drops you in the first, you get up, drop him multiple times, win the fight by knockout. Your last fight, which with Daigo Higa over there in Japan, he drops you the same round, you get up and drop him. How much how much does that play a role in this fight? Your ability to overcome things.
yeah, no, I think that's gonna be one of the biggest things, man. It's definitely refined my character, man. Just every fight, man, that I fought in my past, uh, to the present, man, it's all building my character, building my experience, and helping me, to be the fighter that I need to be to better myself. And I know with this fight, man, it is with you, man. But my last 3 fights in particular, man, it's been more supernatural. Where it's like, I've been dropped my last 3 fights, and I've been able to come back. And two of the guys I was able to stop. The third guy, he did my last fight. I was able to drop him. But one thing I could testify, man, like it's it's Christ, man. He gives me strength, man. He gives me the strength to get back up and to keep fighting and to get these victories. And I believe June 13th, man. Price is going to be in the ring with me. And I believe he's going to give me the power and the strength I need to get a victory over this kid. And that's where my strength comes from, man. He's the one that gives me the strength to persevere and keep on pushing.
What do you what do you say to the boxing world when and I don't even know if it's really a disservice to you. It's that he's Bam Rodriguez. He's in his prime. He's top. They got him 3 or 4 pound for pound. Just what do you say to the boxing world who may be overlooking this fight, counting you out because of the type of fighter Bam Rodriguez is?
Yeah, I understand from the boxing's perspective, but at the same time, just from a fan perspective, people don't really know who I am like that. But it just motivated me, man, because if I do what I got to do June 13th, man, it'll put all that talk, it'll put it down, and people are not gonna really be to, overlook who I am. And I think that's some people have been doing. They've been overlooking, who I am, and no disrespect, because a kid, man, he's done a lot of great things. So they thinking, hey, man, he's able to conquer this division and that division. He's gonna go up to another division and try to conquer that division. So it's I respect him, man. I respect what he's done in the sport, but June 13th, man, it's not gonna go in his favor. This is where it kind of shuts down for him.
What kind of mentality do you think when it comes face off time, when it comes fight week time? I imagine you're not necessarily going to be disrespectful, but at the same time, I feel like you're not coming in with too much respect for him either. I mean, that didn't, Puma Martinez, the last guy, did some of the shenanigans at the weigh-in, and Bam took that as inventory and made him pay for it on fight night. But just, what do you think your energy is going to be like once it's really time to go, once this fight week?
It's just the mindset, like, hey, man, like once we face off, from there on out, hey, this is and in my character, I would never disrespect the fighter. I give
Uh-huh.
the kid, he's a humble kid as well. Like I like to keep humble. Like I said, I honor Christ. So you'll never see me, talking mess to somebody or like the last guy Puma. That's not in me to do that. But very serious demeanor and have the confidence that, hey, man, like God has put me here. This is my time, and this is the guy that God has put in front of me to beat. To show people who I am, and I got to beat a good fighter like him. So it's I believe it's been set up for my favor. To people who know who Vargas is.
Do you have a vision of how the fight's going to go? Exactly.
No, not really, man. I have I try to multiple scenarios. If the fight goes 12 rounds, how is it? Just in my head, but what I see, man, all I see is my hand being raised up, and me, and still that's the vision that I see, and I believe that's what God has confirmed to me. So I just June 13th, man, is going to become a reality. That's what I'm waiting for, just the reality to kick in. That time to get the win, and June 13th is going to happen.
And lastly, too, man, with all your experience from the 2016 team and everything, who is the most special fighter you feel like you've shared the ring with? Is it Shakur? Is there another fighter that comes to mind with alongside him, or who would you say?
No, it's definitely Shakur Stevenson, man. That's like I said, man, he's a four division champion right now, man, and I think he'll probably be able to go to 147 in another couple of years and take over that division. He has a unique style, man. Very accurate, very sharp. His defense, man, is on a whole nother level too, man. Like you see what he did to Teofimo. It was a one sided fight, man, and he's a special fighter, man, and he's a good friend of mine too. So it's I think he's gonna be the next Crawford, the next Floyd Mayweather of our generation.
So he stands a cut above the rest that you've worked with and shared the ring with.
Definitely, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, man, thank you for that assignment. Hey, I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. Have a good fight against Bam Rodriguez June 13th in Arizona. Appreciate your time, Antonio. If there's anything you want to say before you hop off, please.
No, yeah, man. I just want to thank everybody, man, for supporting me. And the main thing I do is for, man, the platform. This will be one of my biggest fights so far, man. I just look to honor and glorify Christ, man. He gave me purpose. He found me in the sport. He helped me to live a disciplining lifestyle. And that's the most exciting thing, man. When my hand is raised June 13th, I just get to testify, who Jesus is and, what he's done for me and what he wants to do for the world. And that's what I look forward to more than anything is glorifying Jesus, June 13th.
All right, man. Best of luck to both fighters, man. God bless.
All right. God bless. Thank you, man.